Peace and blessings, another mortgage checkup video. And in this video, we are going to talk about closing attorney's affidavit as it relates to closing and your mortgage documents and so forth. And actually, this happens to be my personal document on my property as I was doing some research. So, and I have a very, very good memory. I guess when it serves me, I have a very good memory because I can remember this closing as if it was yesterday. So anyways, here's the document. So you see it says closing attorney's affidavit, and it goes in here and says, let's make this a little bigger. Before the undersigned attesting officer personally appeared, the undersigned closing attorney or agent, who having been the first duly sworn according to law, states under oath as follows. Okay, first of all, this first paragraph, this is a lie, and it's fraudulent. And not only did the attorney perjure his oath, but also the notary public that signed perjured her oath as well. And the reason why is because I specifically remembered that this closing attorney signed this document, and there was no one else in the room but myself and my partner and him at the time. There was no notary in the room. And in fact, we have a copy of this affidavit with his signature on it without even the notary's signature on it. The notary stamped and signed it, and then they filed it down at the county registrar's office. But here in this paragraph, it states, and anytime you go before a notary, you have to sign in front of the notary. But not only sign, this says, before the undersigned attesting officer personally appeared, the undersigned closing attorney or agent, who having been first duly sworn, there was no swearing or anything, according to law, states under oath as follows. Fraud. Fraud. So anyway, let me finish this thing. I'm getting a little bit heated. But anyway, in closing the above loan, but prior to the execution of the deed to secure debt and acknowledgement and waiver of borrower's rights. Another thing, this says in closing the above loan, but prior to the execution of the deed to secure debt. Now, we had already signed all those other documents, the security deed and all the other stuff. What we were signing towards the end were some different riders and affidavits. So we had already executed the deed to secure the debt. But this affidavit, which is sworn under oath and pains of penalty and perjury, says in closing the above loan, but prior to the execution of the deed to secure debt. Anyway, an acknowledgement and waiver of borrower's rights by the borrowers, a representative of the firm reviewed with and explained to the borrowers determined provisions of the deed to secure debt, and particularly the provisions thereof authorizing the lender to sell the secured property by a non-judicial foreclosure under a power of sale, together with the acknowledgement and waiver of borrower's rights, and inform the borrowers of borrower's rights under the Constitution of the State of Georgia and the Constitution of the United States, to notice and a judicial hearing prior to such foreclosure in the absence of a knowing, intentional, and willing contractual waiver of borrowers of borrower's rights. After said review with an explanation to borrowers executed. Again, it says here, after said review with an explanation to borrowers executed the deed to secure debt and acknowledgement and waiver of borrower's rights. That's a lie because it happened in reverse. And just this portion right here makes the contract null and void. And also there could be severe penalties brought on to the closing attorney, criminal charges, damages brought on to the closing attorney, as well as the notary public who affixed her stamp to this document. Now, I'm going to have to pray really hard because this is not really something I choose to do in this process, is go after the closing attorney nor the notary public. I'm going to have to pray and meditate on this because I just discovered this. So if you hear excitement and intensity in my voice, it's because I just discovered this and going through something, and it's really all said and done. I'm good as far as, you know, the mortgage is concerned. It's been lawfully discharged and everything like that. But just going through and working with other individuals, you know, as you continue to read, continue to research, you find different things. There's so much fraud that is taking place in the mortgage arena that it is unreal. It's really, really unreal. So I'm going to have to think about that. Do I want to, you know, I probably, I know I won't do anything on the public side, but I will probably do something on the private side. I'm just not sure. You know, you have to pick your battles, and, you know, focus your attention and your intention on those things, for me, that are going to be positive. But I'm thinking, you know, if this was just normal business for them to do this in this fashion, are they doing this with every single person that they close a home with? And they're not really giving full disclosure. So I'm thinking that this individual does not need to be in a capacity of representing the public. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to pray real hard about it, and I'm going to meditate on it. Okay, so let's finish this up. The last part of this says, based on said review and explanation to the borrowers, it is the opinion of the firm that the borrowers knowingly, intentionally, and willingly executed the waiver of the borrower's constitutional rights to notice and judicial hearing prior to any such non-judicial foreclosure. Yeah, and like I said, that last paragraph, it is the opinion of the firm. But anyway, this affidavit as a whole is has a lot of misleading and a lot of lies in it, and it wasn't done in accordance to an affidavit. And the thing about it is that regardless to, you know, if you're just starting to research your mortgage and really looking into the contract and things like that, and say, you know, you closed on your home 10 years ago, 30 years ago, if there's fraud that exists in that contract, there is no statute of limitation where fraud exists. Anytime fraud is discovered, that is the point in time, really, when the clock starts ticking. So anytime you become aware of a contract or agreement, whether it's 30 years down the road, 50 years down the road, 100 years down the road, fraud vitiates all contracts. So there is no statute of limitation. And if anyone tells you anything different, they don't have your best interest at heart. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in some upcoming videos. Take care. Have a great day. Peace and blessings.